Fran, what do we got next?
This article comes from Deadline. It was revealed in the Room Animation Festival and Annecy. I think I pronounced that right.
I think it's Annecy or something like that. Yeah.
And later on social media that Rushmore star Jason Schwartzman will lend his voice to the spot, a new villain in both Across the Spider-Verse, which hits theaters on June 2nd, 2023, and its follow-up Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, which opens on March 29th, 2024. That's crazy that they have both dates planned already. Sorry.
Yeah, I think that
That's
these
nuts.
films, my guess is that these movies are going to be really tightly connected.
You don't see that a lot.
No, and I think that's why. I think this is an Infinity War Endgame kind of situation where they're really connected because I believe it's just going to be a trilogy and then it'll be done. Anyway, guys, first of all, let's talk about Into the Spider-Verse, all right? First animated comic book film to win Best Animated Feature at the Academy Awards. Obviously was like a huge lift up for Sony's Spider-Man projects overall. It's like pretty much the only critically loved Sony Spider-Man project in like forever. I mean, unless you want to count Venom as being loved. Nothing wrong with Venom, but I'm not trying to shit on Venom. I'm just saying critics were very mixed. But Into the Spider-Verse was pretty overall beloved. And now they have this character where his superpower, and Zane will get into this because he's a big comic nerd, his superpower is that he creates portals to other dimensions with the spots on his body. Is there a better choice for a villain in a movie about Spider-Man going to alternate universes? I don't think so. Also, at CinemaCon, they did show the first 10 minutes of this movie to people or something like that, the first 5 minutes with rough editing, and there's a lot of people really praising it already. So I'm excited to see it. Also, Jorma Tacone, I believe, was cast as Vulture. Shea Wiggum, I think, or Winham, I can't remember his name, was also cast. And then we have Jason Schwartzman. I love Jason Schwartzman. He's like the only character I found funny in Funny People, oddly enough. No, I'm not trying to hate, but I'm just saying. You hear the news about Spot, oddly enough, getting in a movie at all, let alone being like one of the main villains. What are your thoughts on that, Zane, as a major Spider-Man and comic book fan in general?
So one of the things I just cannot praise the Into the Spider-Verse like universe enough. I've got a lot of family members that I'm a huge nerd, but they're like, couldn't give less of a fuck about a lot of like the comic booky stuff. Especially if you try to say like, hey, check out this animated movie. It's instantly checked out. That's like, I think my sister said that that's her favorite Spider-Man movie. She was just totally
it's seriously a great movie.
Yeah, she hates, like, I tried to make her watch an anime once and she's like, you need to get out of my house.
It's crazy that like,
it's just so...
I can't imagine this being somebody's favorite Spider-Man movie.
It's probably one of my favorite Spider-Man movies.
Fine.
It's so good.
Hold on. What did you not like about it? I want you to answer that question first before we even get into the geek comic book
Spider
stuff.
Pig. Like, what the
It's
fuck?
adorable!
Why?
Dude, it's
fun. It's fine.
don't
But
like
there's
Spider-Ham?
there's way better Spider-Man movies.
Well, I mean,
Like
that's a matter of...
Like all of them.
You think Amazing Spider-Man 2 is better than Into the Spider-Verse?
Franny's got some hot takes on just
That has
Spider-Man
got to be
in general.
the most offensive thing I've ever fucking heard.
I like this movie,
Also,
but it just it's
go back and rewatch
little
the Raimi
goofy.
movies. I love Raimi,
Like, Spider-Man 2 is amazing.
but like
Spider-Man 2 is
especially
amazing.
it's very campy. I don't think they aged super well.
You should watch Spider-Man 2 again because it's great. But no,
Okay.
you're right. Not all of them were perfect. Amazing Spider-Man 2 is the worst Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
There's literally a
Is it
scene.
really? I don't remember it.
There's a scene where he busts
honest
open
with you.
his dad's old calculator, finds a bunch of gold coins, breaks into an abandoned subway, puts the coins in the machine, and then a weird secret layer shows up. And no one remembers that from the movie because it's so chock filled with bullshit. All right? So let me just be clear. Into the Spider-Verse is definitively not the worst Spider-Man movie. I refuse.
But no.
You
It's
have
a
to. Then
fine
you know what?
movie.
You have to watch Amazing Spider-Man 2 again while we watch Into the Spider-Verse. Let's see who has more fun.
Yeah, we're gonna have a fucking great time. No, but like
No, I
I
liked
love
Into the
I love shit
Spider-Verse,
like
but-
Spider Ham or Spider Noir. Like, Nicolas Cage has become such a meme at this point. His Spider Noir was like just perfection. I love it so
Spider-Gwen,
much.
great character,
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
True.
Absolutely.
No, it had good
Peter B.
characters. I just
Parker.
like don't even see it on the same level as like a Spider-Man movie. I don't know.
This is crazy.
This is wild to me. Yeah,
This is like a different.
Guys-
this feels so different.
Guys, I don't know.
Maybe
what you
with
think
the
in the
second movie, they'll make it like feel more like a real movie.
it's so.
I have to give me a second. I have to address that. First of all,
What?
what do you mean feel more like a Spider-Man movie? The movie totally felt Spider-Man. It literally felt like a comic book with its super amazing animation style.
Exactly. I never like.
You got
I don't want it to
that
feel like
huge-
I don't want it to feel like a comic book. I want it to feel like Spider-Man.
How do you even respond to that? Anyway, you have Swally and Post Malone's Sunflower song that
I liked
blew
that
up.
song.
And the whole soundtrack is a huge bop and people bought it like crazy.
No, it was good.
It even sold and did very well for an imaginary Christmas album for the movie sung by Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It was trending on streaming on Spotify. A fake album, okay? That's how influential this movie was. And you're like, I think it was poop.
I don't think it was poo. I
love
think it
how
was fine.
Everything that
It was good.
we're like, this was an amazing thing. You're like, that was an amazing thing. Worst Spider-Man movie ever.
I don't hold it to the same level as like real Spider-Man movies.
because it's a person running across the screen. You're like,
Oh my God, to real Spider-Man movies.
what is
Yes.
even happening? No, one of the things
This
that
is
I
derailed.
loved
This is derailed.
very specifically, like the fact that they chose Spot for this is so
Perfect.
perfect to what the Spider-Verse movies have done, because they introduce characters like Spider-Ham, like oh God, I forget her name.
Spider-Gwen.
The mech Spider Girl.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But like stuff like that, where it's like that is an obscenely deep cut for just like weird off the wall like Spider-Man stuff. The fact that they didn't sit there and they didn't have to like go in depth about like Wilson Fisk's family. It's just like, hey, Wilson Fisk has a family. Boom, Kingpin's kid is big tragic thing happened there, and we're moving on. They don't have to like sit there and hold your hand. They're not going to try to explain everything that's ever happened in comic books to you. It feels like when you pick up a comic book and you're like, I don't know who this character is, but I'll probably be able to figure out by context clues. They don't hold your hand through. It feels like a comic book.
Franny, I'm stuck on this. Franny, let's say they've been flirting a lot with the idea of Jaden Smith potentially playing a Miles Morales in a live action, right? I don't know how that's going to go post-slap, but whatever. That was originally the conversation.
He didn't slap anybody,
Yeah.
But man, he was like, my dad was just defending his bullshit. Listen, I don't want to talk about them. That's not what I'm getting into. Franny, if they had made the movie in live action, it was Jaden Smith. It was entirely the same story. Everything was exactly the same. How would you feel about the movie then?
I don't know. It feels like a lot to shove into a live action movie. I feel like the only way you can do like all that.
So in other words, because it was an animation, it was better.
I like this movie,
but because it's an animation, it's not a real Spider-Man movie.
It just doesn't have the same
What
feel.
a weird fucking hot take. I
doesn't
don't even
feel
understand
like
it.
Spider- Spider-Man.
Listen, it's fine. We're all entitled to our own opinions,
All right.
but that's insane.
One of the other things that I do want to talk about, like for the Spider-Verse movies across the board, they bring in Prowler, and it's one of those things that they don't even talk about. Prowler's already in the MCU, but nobody talks about it because I almost just called him Childish Gambino, because that technically Donald
Glover, yeah.
Donald Glover's in the MCU as Miles Morales' uncle, who becomes the Prowler. So
Yep.
it's like that's already set up, but just nobody talks about it. And I don't know if that's just because until Spider-Verse came out, nobody was really talking about like Miles Morales
Well,
properties.
I can
but-
explain to you why, and I think you kind of nailed it. So if you guys don't even know how Miles Morales came to be, a long time ago, a viral tweet happened where people were looking for who the next Spider-Man was going to be, and a lot of fans were like, Donald Glover's nerdy and he's awesome. He should be the next Spider-Man. And everybody fucking lost their minds. And as a result, writers like Mark Bernardin and some other writers kind of came to the conclusion, like, he wrote an article called Why Can't Spider-Man Be Black? And it was just about like how it would totally fit with the universe and may even pay tribute better than some of the earlier renditions of the character.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how Miles Morales was born. And then as a result, when they're making Homecoming, they're like, well, let's just because this is the first new Spider-Man movie. People's thoughts on it at the time was Donald Glover's in this movie solely because he was almost Spider-Man and then he wasn't.
Yeah.
What they don't realize is that it was the most secretive setup of all time, and they wouldn't be able to figure it out because then Into the Spider-Verse comes out later, introduces so many people to who Prowler is, but by this point, you'd have to look in the rear view. So it's totally going to be a thing. Definitely.
I'm so excited for it, and you don't see a lot of people really talking about it. So I'm just like, that's a seed that they just kind of dropped in there, and I'm really excited to see the MCU bring that back. But we're talking about Spot in this movie, which like what an off the wall fucking character to be bringing in, but like so perfect for this.
Whoever was working on it had to be deep in the comics.
Yeah,
because if you're a Spider-Man fan or just a comic fan in general, when was the last fucking time anybody's ever mentioned Spot to you? That's not to be mean. I like Spot. I'm just saying, when has he ever come up like at all?
Yeah, it's not like a Mysterio. It's not. It's not even a Scorpion.
But the best part about that is now they can do whatever they want with the character.
Yeah.
There's no worries about like, oh, are we paying tribute to what the people expect from the character? Yeah, exactly. It's just like we're introducing this to you.
Yeah, I didn't even know about the character.
Exactly. Most people don't.
Yeah.
You're definitely in the majority.
You've got to be so deep in the comics, Lord, even understand Spot's origin story. He was a scientist paid by Kingpin to recreate the powers of Cloak from Cloak and Dagger, which had a quick little show, so some people might know, but yeah.
And it's great because Kingpin was one of the main antagonists from the first movie. I really want to see if they're going to tie that together. Do you guys have anything else you wanted to add?
No.
I'm curious to see if they're going to bring Cloak and Dagger into it.
I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
I actually don't even know where the rights lay with that per se.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that Disney could very easily be addressed by Sony and Sony be like, listen, you literally use Spider-Man in your movies. we're gonna borrow Cloak and Dagger. I think there's a possibility of that, but we'll just have to wait and see. But guys, tell us what you think. Is there an obscure Spider-Man villain that you actually want in the movie or you want in a future movie? Do you think that Franny is high on cocaine because she doesn't like Into the Spider-Verse? Guys, leave it down in the comments below. We want to hear what you guys think. And make sure to like and subscribe.